Okay, calling to order the December 23rd special meeting of the Bakersfield City School District Board of Education. We'll start with a roll call. Trustee Laura Guerrero Salgado.
Present.
Brooke Molly Alt.
Here.
Dr. Chris Cruz Boone.
Here.
Mike Eggert.
Here.
And I am here as well. So we'll move on to public comments. Do we have any? No. Awesome. So, moving on to item A3, approval of the memorandum of understanding between the Bakersfield City School District and the California School Employees Association, chapter number 48, CSEA, regarding special education aids. It is recommended that the MOU between the district and CSEA regarding special education aids be approved. Have any motion?
This is Chris, so moved.
This is Laura, I second.
Cool. Any discussion? Seeing none? None? Right. Okay. We'll have a vote on that one. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? Abstentions? We're good? Cool. Moving on to item A4, approval of the memorandum of understanding between Bakersfield City School District and the California School Employees Association, chapter number 48, CSEA, regarding job descriptions and flexible hours. It is recommended that the MOU between the district and CSEA regarding job descriptions and flexible hours be approved. Do I have a motion?
This is Laura, I move that we approve it.
Okay, any seconds?
Second, and I have questions.
Thank you. So let's get to discussion. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I'm just trying to understand this. It says job description, but it's not the normal job description. I be honest with you, I haven't had enough time to really look at it and digest it, and totally understand it. There's a lot of questions, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, we're in the budgetary time where we're cutting back and everything, and we're looking at having a position with a very high, rate of pay. I don't agree with it, and I just felt if I had more time to look at it and understand it and be able to ask questions, I would feel much more comfortable about it.
Didn't you just second motion though?
I did for
so
discussion.
We can have discussion. Ms. Cornejo, could you talk to us a little bit about, I know some of these classifications are step 42, 46, 48. Those are really high classifications. Are those higher steps than those current jobs already are? And also, are these different jobs or just redescriptions of jobs that people already have?
So the job descriptions that are being proposed that were negotiated with CSEA are a combination of new and revised job descriptions. We have 3 new job descriptions and 4 revised job descriptions. So we have a revision of our BIS, our FACE driver, our school and community facilitator driver, and our YSS job descriptions that are being revised. There is no change to the salary there. So the salary is compensated at the regular salary that they are currently compensated with. The 3 new additional job descriptions are for drivers based on the new regulations that are that will be effective July 1, 2025. SB 88, I know that we've talked about that for a little while now, and we've been working with CSEA since February of this year on these job descriptions. We created the new job descriptions as drivers to assist us with our transportation of students to school. We have not hired or for these positions, but the salary ranges are in accordance with their base job classifications. They are 2 salary classifications higher in salary than the regular non-driver positions. This is typical and normal of our salary schedule that we currently have now with our existing positions and driver positions. So it's not unusual, and it's consistent with the integrity of our salary schedule that we currently have.
So when we change like the BISC job descriptions at a board meeting, they also went up to classifications as well?
The BISC job description that is currently, that we currently have, the salary remained the same. But the new salary schedule for BISC driver did go up 2 salary classifications.
And
So,
did they go up to those like 42, 46, 58, like those high level ones that we're talking about now?
yeah, our current BISC salary is 42.
42.
So we created a BISC driver, and that is at range 44, which is 2 classifications higher due to the increased job responsibilities and duties that they will be performing.
I guess the part that is hard is that we had a bunch of folks from the district office come in and tell us at our most recent board meeting, and it was news to us that they were being laid off because of budget cuts. And so these seem like very high salary classifications for new district employees that don't currently exist, while we just found out we're laying off other folks. Did the union know when they were voting to ratify this contract about those layoffs?
First, let's backtrack.
Sorry, it's a lot of different information, and I don't know if it's interrelated, so
Let's
please,
backtrack.
Talk to
Let's
us.
backtrack. So we held a study session in October that overlaid the deficit to our budget. At that meeting and subsequent updates, the board received a complete list of positions that were being discussed for elimination. Position elimination and layoffs are 2 different conversations because of bumping rights that exist within the CSCA classification. The conversation continued from November 8th through and prior to last week's board meeting, and then the employees came and spoke, which is completely their right to do so. Senate Bill 88, which was signed into law back in 23 and comes into effect July 1, says any driver who is picking up children going to school must meet the driver qualifications, essentially, of a bus driver. You can take kids to field trips, athletic activities, anything else. You don't have to have the driver qualifications, but to transport kids to school, you have to meet the driver qualifications. This bill was written in part because many of the urban school districts up and down the state were contracting with third-party vendors like Hop, Skip, Drive, and other Uber type of agencies to transport kids to school for a variety of reasons. We have a practice in our district to support attendance of school sites going out and picking up kids and bringing them to school. Without these driver job descriptions, our employees would be limited to 40 hours annually of driving to pick kids up, and we would exhaust that likely in 1 to 2 months per employee, which would basically not allow us thereafter to transport kids to school. We wish that we didn't have to go about that practice, but it's a reality for our school system and our district that oftentimes their parents rely on us to call with a reminder and even at times go pick up kids and transport them to school. And again, the SB 88 requirements dictate these job descriptions to do that work. Without the job descriptions, our staff would be limited to 40 hours a year, and that would be fine. We would just potentially lose out on a lot of attendance dollars, and our chronic absenteeism rate would spike. Much of the work we've done over the last 2 years, and even prior to COVID, was because of the elevated intentional steps of coordinating pickups and drop-offs and things like that for kids to and from school based on staff. And frankly, our staff, that's office staff, so that's secretary, clerk at times, it's principal, vice principal, it could be behavior intervention specialist. So there's a lot more positions that historically did that work than just the job descriptions here. And given the SB 88 requirements effective June 1, it's really urgent for us to have drivers available to do that work, if that is the desire of the board, to continue moving forward with that. If it's not, then the descriptions don't have to be approved.
Mark, we approved a bunch of descriptions at our previous board meeting. Was there a reason we didn't include these ones in that first round? Was it like someone else? I don't know.
These job descriptions were bargained with CSCA, were agreed to, and then ratified by the membership last Wednesday night. That's why they're coming before the board tonight.
I know, but what I'm asking is, we previously changed several job descriptions to include driver that were lower classifications. Didn't we rewrite other jobs to include this?
We had one job description. It was the instructional assistant behavioral management driver. It was a revision to that particular job description with no salary compensation increase. That one we did bring previously. We had agreement with CSCA on that one particular one, and we did bring it forward for approval, and it was approved.
So that one was approved, but without a pay increase?
Correct.
And so, but that one's not included with this group's?
It was initially included with this group's. However, there were no concerns with that particular job description at the time, and we were still working on these. So we brought forward the one to get that one moving through the process.
It says job descriptions, but I don't see any job descriptions.
They're on there, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah, you have to click the attachment.
PDF if you scroll.
Is it?
It's the PDF attachment.
Okay,
That's what I was looking at. Oh no, maybe that's just the letter. Where did I see this? Is it under a different item than item 4 maybe?
No, they're not there.
I mean, this board's, and this district common practice is that part of the personnel reports always have job descriptions. So I've never seen where it's approved with just a blank slate.
Can we table this one MOU and come back to it once we have the contracts?
Job description.
Yes, that's fine.
Yes.
It's the board's desire.
Yes.
That's fine.
I mean, and I don't know, maybe that's not the whole board's desire, it was just a question hypothetically.
Yeah.
How would we do that? Like, would we vote no and then it's tabled, or would we make a separate motion to table it, or what would be the appropriate protocol?
You would have to vote it down and then,
Because I know we can vote to amend the original motion with a 2/3 vote, right? But I don't want, because I don't want to vote no if that means we can't bring it back. I just want to make sure that I'm not killing an MOU by voting no. Is my question making sense?
It makes sense.
Robert rules of order.
Andrea?
There's a motion on the floor with the
Yeah.
first and a second already.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you need to continue that vote. If it fails, a second motion to table the item can be.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
I have a question. How would this affect any of this employee?
The goal is to get these positions prepared for June, so there's training and things coming up.
So would it just push out the trainings?
We would have to begin planning for after January's board meeting, which is fine. We'll make it work. So.
Okay, is there any more discussion?
Can we do a roll call vote?
Yeah, we will. So there's a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call vote. Is there any particular order we have to go in? No. Cool. Then we'll just start here. Laura?
Yes.
Brooke?
No.
CCB?
No.
Mike?
No.
And I'm going to vote yes. So that motion fails. Is there a secondary motion?
This is Chris Creasboon. I make a motion to table item 4 for reconsideration until our next general board meeting in January.
And I'll second.
Need a second right here,
Sure.
if you don't mind.
Type that up.
Feels like there's a lot of tension here. Who was the first?
That was me, I made the motion.
Motion to table, and then who seconded it? Was it Brooke?
I did, yes.
And then we take
I've
that
had a lot
vote.
of cold medicine,
Yeah.
maybe I'm being.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. We'll do another roll call vote, and we'll just go in the same order. Laura,
Okay, what are we doing?
we're voting to table this motion until
So we
next
can bring
meeting.
it back.
Okay.
So that's a yes? Sorry, your vote was?
Yeah?
Yeah, Brooke? CCB?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I'll be a yes as well, so that is unanimous. I believe we can move on to item number 5, public disclosure as required by AB 1200 pertaining to the proposed wage and benefits adjustment for CSEA bargaining group. It is recommended that the public disclosure as required by AB 1200 pertaining to the proposed wage and benefits adjustment for CSEA bargaining group be received as a matter of record. Do I have a motion?
Make motion.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
This is Chris,
any
I
seconds?
second.
Thank you, CCB. Any discussion on this one?
Can I ask you a question, Ms. Carnejo? In ed code for higher ed, like we have on our flexible job descriptions, it's like, I think it's 2 weeks, you have to be notified if your boss wants to like change a route, whatever your schedule is. Is it like that with this as well? Does the MOU ever read this, or? I don't even know if it's the same for K through 12, so.
Are we talking about the flexible hour MOU?
Yeah.
So there's no defined time period for that, but BCSD has always given a courtesy notice to employees with reasonable notification, which is typically a 2-week notification.
Any other discussion? Cool. All of those in favor of this one? Opposed?
I'm gonna
Abstain-
abstain.
Abstentions. Okay, so that's 4 of us. Yes, I was also yes. I get to vote as president, my bad. 1 abstention, thank you. Item number 6, agreement with Amerigus Healthcare Staffing. It is recommended that the agreement with Amerigus Healthcare Staffing, Inc. be approved for paraprofessionals to support in special education classrooms for the 2024-2025 school year and extended school year be approved. Do I have a motion on this one?
This is Chris, so moved.
Thank you. Seconds?
This is Laura, I second.
Thank you. Any discussion on this one?
Yes.
Mike?
I have an issue. I know we need the people. I looked at last week's tab. There's not even a position for A2s being requested. It's not even posted, but we're going to hire an outside firm, and we're not even seeking it on our current website. I mean, 1.8 million is a lot of money at times that we're cutting budgets. I don't agree with it. I feel that this has been 3 to 4 years of kicking the can down the road instead of coming up with some solutions. I made some suggestions at the last meeting where, we work on Sacramento and get the change. The way that it is now, but with this private contractor, they don't need to take the proficiency test and pass anything. So that gets the district around that because they're considered under healthcare, not instructional education. So there's a fine line there. And there's many school districts throughout this state of California that have taken advantage of this. I think that we need to do do our due diligence in making sure that we get this problem solved, and we need to look at where the law comes from. And it said it's a big expenditure, and if I saw that as a one-time deal, but we're dealing with it for 4 years in a row, and where As I said, then it just, when I look at the job opportunity, there's not even aid 2 posted. Aid 1 is 3 hours.
Okay, Chris?
I don't know who would be the right person to direct this at, maybe you, superintendent, but we're not gonna really spend the 1.85, that's like worst case scenario, right? That's like if everything went sideways and we really needed the staff to be federally compliant, we would use them, right?
The budgeted amount is indicating, yes, your description where every position is filled for every hour that would be needed for the current 80-plus positions that are vacant. Highly likely we don't exhaust all 1.85, but that would be the budgeted amount if every position was filled for every hour.
Really,
Yeah.
if we had a lot of turnover and we were really desperate, we used them during, like, right after COVID, right, when we were having a hard time with staffing?
Yeah,
Or is this a
unfortunately.
different agency?
No, well, so Maxim Healthcare
Oh,
was
it's
the,
Maxim,
was
yes.
the previous vendor. Emergis purchased Maxim, so it's same under a different umbrella title.
Okay.
Master agreement, and yes, continue to work with our A2s through tutorials for passing the paraprofessional exam. Although that is offering us some progress, this is the time of year too where perhaps some of the A2s are employed and are enrolled in school or shifting schedules because of their class college schedule. And so we're likely to see some adjustment in scheduling over the month of January as the college semesters kick off once again. And we'll adjust as accordingly so and continue to recruit employees into these roles going forward. Because we do recognize as well that the number of classes that we need to manage for special ed continues to increase as well.
And I mean, I've communicated to you that back
Yeah,
then, even
right.
it gave me the big ick to hire, like, external agencies, but it was our special education staff that asked for this, right? They were like, please help us fill the gaps.
I think was a conversation where we understand the pressure from our aides in our classrooms where we're understaffed. And, although we have subs available, subs don't always pick up the jobs on a daily basis. And so the collaboration to try to ensure our classrooms are covered while we're solving the larger challenge with recruitment and retention of aides who can pass that paraprofessional exam in lieu of the units through the community college.
When I visited a school, there was a principal too that asked about it specifically. So I know it was one of the higher needs schools that has problems filling those vacancies. So I have heard express concern over that. Can you walk us through maybe a couple instances of how we've tried to fill these positions or why it was not flown to the rest of the district?
Yes, I'll ask Ms. Cornetto to give a rundown, a summary of our job fairs we've had over the course of the fall.
So we have had this year from January through December, we've had 3 job fairs. We've had one specifically for special education that we focused on those paraprofessionals that are needed. We have conducted on-site interviews and hirings and offerings of conditional offers of employment. We've granted paraprofessional tests at these job fairs. And prior to the paraprofessional tests, we are giving on-site in-person tutoring on a specific session, parts of that paraprofessional test that's very difficult to pass, which is our mathematics. And it seemed to really improve on the passage of those tests since we've been doing that. We've also added online tutoring and hard copy tutoring for our paraprofessional tests. We continue to advertise for our Aid 2 positions. It is a year-round advertising and recruitment of those positions. We do have to temporarily close them, so it gives our employees an opportunity to get in there and review these applications, pre-screen them, and prepare them for the actual screening, the actual selection of interviews, setting up those calls, making those calls, doing the reference checks, and then after we do have orientations with these with our paraprofessionals. So we've hired well over hundreds of paraprofessionals over this year. Yes.
And I don't know, this makes sense in my head, but I don't know if it's true. If we're changing the hours for the A2 positions,
Yes.
it would make sense to me that we are pausing recruitment until we decide whether that change was approved by the board or not.
No, we've been moving
Okay.
full force. We've been moving
No, I
full
didn't know,
force.
that's why I asked.
Yes, absolutely. We have not pushed, the gas pedal has been down on that one for the time period that we have had the labor shortage. It's not unusual. It's happening across the county, across the state still. It continues. We are very competitive with our salary for our special education aides. If you look at our salary schedule and towards the middle and the end, it is a great benefit for BCSD employees in all of our salary schedules to remain and be retained here in the district. We also are very competitive now with the 7 hours that was just approved this night by our Board of Education. So we will hopefully see a greater number of our staff employed in those positions staying here in the district with us. So we're excited for that. We thank CSCA for all their assistance and help in getting us there. So we're going to continue to march on and continue with our recruitment efforts and our retention efforts. It's very important and a high priority for our district as well.
And perhaps one more bit of information we can give you, I don't know the number off my head, maybe you know, Christine, maybe not, but the number of A2 subs that we've recruited and employed in the district. Now, mind you, an aide is not an aide just for one classification.
Sure.
They can sub in various classifications, but I know there's been a lot of work done in human resources just to build up that bank of aides, subs to cover positions.
Yes, we have built on our substitute paraprofessionals. We have well over 800 on staff, strictly contracted as aides. But like Mr. Lucia explained, they are also contracted in other areas in our district as well. A lot of our substitutes have part-time jobs, go to school part-time, so they're not able to work consistently every day, but we do have others that do. So we continue taking those applications. That one is online on our website as well. And so the push is with substitutes and also reaching out to those substitutes to get them prepared to pass that paraprofessional test or walk them through other avenues to be hired in those positions.
If this were not to pass, it just would concern me of the staff that's already very stressed, especially at the schools where they have a really hard time filling anything, them becoming even more stressed and then maybe leaving. So it could potentially create the final straw of frustration.
Yes. And it's very important to have that paraprofessional support, not only through our BCSD substitutes, but to plug in the gaps and the holes to alleviate some of the burden that our CSCA unit members are filling out there, and to show the support that we're giving. Also, we are able to pick up those individuals that are working through emeritus now, after they come and work with us, and they can take the paraprofessional test, and we can eventually hire them after a time period.
So I love what Brooke just said about like filling that gap, and I also think about the bottleneck of how many people y'all have to certify in HR. It doesn't mean just because we put people in temporary openings that HR stops the search or the hiring process. It just means that we're not understaffed while that process is going through.
Correct, yes.
I do agree, though, that we could have some more creative recruitment efforts. I know you do an amazing job. You always update us on your events, but I think there are some other creative ways that I think I've discussed with Mr. Luque in private before.
Absolutely, we take all recommendations.
Our job fairs are like a party. Have you been to one?
I have not.
There's like balloons and themes and food. They're not scary. They're like, please come work here.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Mike?
As I said, I understand. I think one of the big benefits is raising to 7 hours. I mean, talking to a few of the aides, that'll be about a $500–600 a month increase, because of one of the factors is their benefits. they're only paying 1/8 instead of, 1/4. So that I think will be a big factor in trying to recruit people, because it's, giving them, a full day, pretty much. And I appreciate that aspect
agree.
of it.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on this? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye as well. Opposed?
No.
Mike, thank you. Abstentions? I think we're good. Cool. All right. Last item is our closing item, just adjournment. It is recommended that the meeting be adjourned. Do I have a motion?
So moved. This is Chris.
Thank you. Seconds?
This is Laura, I second.
Thank you. All of those in favor? Aye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Adjourned at 11:30.